Welcome to the Kickstart My Franchise podcast. I'm your host, Tim Michaels. Today's guest is the CEO of a rapidly growing brewpub franchise called Voodoo Brewing. We're thrilled to have Matteo Rashaki joining us today. How are you doing, Matteo?
Doing good, thanks. How are you?
Doing great. Looking forward to talking about Voodoo here. So, maybe for our audience, you could just give us an overview of what exactly is Voodoo Brewing.
Voodoo Brewing is a malt brew manufacturing company based out of Meadville, Pennsylvania. We're 18 years young. My brother and I took over the business officially January of 2012 and built out a tap room model with our original location on Arch Street in Meadville. And after that, we quickly grew to 7 retail locations and decided along the way that we were going to kind of build the playbook on how to do a Voodoo. We felt like it had a lot of opportunity to share with other communities, and decided to explore the franchise route. And that pretty quickly got us to where we are today.
Awesome. And how many employees, does it really take to run one of these things?
So we're a little different. I mean, my entire organization has roughly 60, 65 employees, most of which are bartenders or cooks at my retail locations. The manufacturing facility actually runs on a very small crew. We only have about 6 people that work in the production side of the business. And then obviously we'll have some administration staff on top of that. On the brew pub side, I mean, it just depends on, the size and scale of the tap room. We have some that run in with as small as 5 to 6 employees, and we have some locations like our North Shore pub and some of the larger stores in the franchise system that'll have considerably more, 20 or more.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. And you guys don't have any servers, is that correct? That's a differentiator I think I was reading about.
It's one of the many, but yes, our staffing approach is a little different. We have more of like that European style beer hall kind of layout. And yeah, there's no hostesses, there's no servers. A couple of our locations will use some runners, but we still do a lot of like tableside ordering. You order at the bar, you pick up at a window by the kitchen. So it's a little more of that kind of casual approach.
How many square feet are most of these? Like, is this 2,000, 3,000 square feet?
You got to remember, you got to build out a kitchen. You got to build out a decently sized cold room because you're going to be doing a lot of beer sales. So I would say most of our pubs are between the 3,000 and 5,000 square foot range. Some are even larger.
Okay, got it. And in terms of the actual product, the actual beer, can you talk a little bit about that? Like, what differentiates it? What's your favorite beer, maybe?
Sure. So my little brother, Kurt, is our head brewer, oversees all the operations on the brewing side of the business. He went to school for biochemistry and is a very wicked smart brewer. He knows exactly what he's doing back there. Everything starts from the beginning of the brewing process with your water chemistry, and it just kind of goes down from there. Our approach to more traditional styles of beer brewing and to not be a one-trick pony, I think, are 2 of the main things that have really helped kind of grow the brand. There's a lot of breweries out there that do very, very well in a particular category of beer. They're known for smoothies, style sours, or they're known for their New England IPAs, or they're great at barrel-aged stouts. One of the things I think we've done pretty successfully is, been able to put together a portfolio of beer that's all very highly rated and regarded and recognized. Everything from, light lagers and blonde ales to IPAs and barrel-aged stouts and everything in between. So that's one of the things that I do think are pretty unique. There's a lot of breweries out there anymore that they don't have like a flagship portfolio. They'll just have like a flagship or be known for one particular thing. And, we have 9 core brands just to begin with.
Oh, wow.
And then you add in, seltzers and alcohol products and things like that. It gets pretty dense. And that's part of what, you're investing in, when you're looking at our system for independent ownership is, having that breadth of very highly rated, very impeccably prepared craft beer.
Okay, so you guys are actually beyond beer. I didn't realize that. I thought you were just beer, but you do seltzers and other things.
Yep. We have a seltzer program. So Pete, he was my roommate in New York when I lived there, was going to college, and he came over here with me at the brewing company, and he's our head of mixology. He also heads up the seltzer program.
Okay, awesome. In terms of actual growth, can you talk a little bit about how fast you guys are growing? How many locations you have right now?
I understand people they feel that it's fast, and I guess I'd like to think it's still very calculated and it's very methodical, and it's obviously done with a lot of you know thought process behind how are we doing what we're doing and at what rate. You want to do this responsibly, especially when you're working with dozens of other owner operators. It started here at the brewery itself. We built a manufacturing facility in Meadville, not far at all from the original brew pub, which still runs a lot of R&D and small batch stuff. But the brewery here has the capability of doing 60,000 barrels of beer per year. We're only doing about 10 right now. So there's lots of room for growth here on the brewing side of things. And then just kind of looking at our franchise support and our team over there and growing the team as needed. We're roughly around 15 locations currently open. And we have quite a few that have been awarded and that are at various steps in their pub construction and development process. But at the end of the day, we have a very sensible way in which that we approach their opening schedule and their timeline and getting everybody taken care of.
Awesome. In terms of the competitive landscape, can you talk a little bit about what that looks like? You already hit on a few of the differentiators as far as what, you guys do that's unique, but maybe there are a few more.
Sure. About the beer specifically or the franchise opportunity specifically?
So about the franchise opportunity specifically.
Yeah. So when it comes to that, I guess part of what we do, and it does translate on the beer side too, is that bit of kind of cult following and exclusivity. There's plenty of products that we brew and we put out every year that are in very limited supply. They sell out. And having that same approach to franchising was kind of our thought is, okay, well, we want to make sure that we're finding the right partners. This is a marriage. You're being brought into, a family of other, employee owners, owner operators. You want to make sure that they're going to fit, the culture that we have. So I would say part of it is, we vet to the point where if you get to come to one of our approval days, we're at that last moment of like getting to know each other. And even then I would say we still probably say no, thank you more than we say, yeah, let's do this.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's just because we want to be, very confident that, the culture of the brand that we've created, is going to be, the integrity of it will be upheld.
Yeah.
So I
No,
think
it
that's
makes a
part
lot
of
of
it.
sense.
Yeah, for sure. And then I know a lot of people in the franchise space are interested in the fact that we have some flexibility. The way we build our pubs and we want them to be, completely enveloped in the community, we'll change up pieces of the design, pieces of the decor, elements on the menu, mixes in your, cocktail or draft selections. There's a lot of things that we'll do because they always kind of mention it in the marketing materials as like the anti-franchise franchise. And there's definitely reality of that. Even just the way we do things from a design and construction standpoint, are very different. And the fact that your particular pub is going to have its own voice, everyone has its own local store icon, so they've got their own way to put messaging out to the community. So it's very specific to that store. It is unique. And I think we found some success there because it's a unique time, in a post-COVID environment. You've got a lot of people who are, exploring different opportunities for, their investments, looking at different opportunities for, their employment. And franchising became, I guess, a lot more likely for people in that, post-COVID, world. We're also finding that there are a lot younger people looking to enter into franchising too. And then you just add in the last piece of this, and I know I talked a lot, but the last piece of this is being craft beer is inherently fun. it's very helpful when you're opening up a brew pub space or a tap room in general, and you're throwing the Voodoo Brewery brand on it. When you go to recruit for
Yeah.
staff, when you're looking at the opportunity as a whole, it's definitely a little bit more engaging.
Mm-hmm. You mentioned food there. I had completely forgotten about food. Like, can you talk a little bit about your food menu? Like, what are the typical items on there? That sort of
Yeah, I mean,
thing.
food is huge. I mean, we have pubs that are on pace to match or exceed alcohol sales with food sales, which all of a sudden then puts you a lot more in that restaurant space than it does in like a brew pub, kind of like tap room space. So the food is just infinitely important. We have a culinary director on the brewing side. We also have a culinary director on the franchise side that they work hand in hand to develop menus that will test through corporate or will scale for the franchise community. I mean, staples that we have are like our pretzel with beer cheese. You can't go to a brewery without that. We have what's called a Voodoo burger. I just think it's downright one of the best burgers on the planet. We do all kinds of great creative things with spent grain integrated into things like our pizza shells, for our pizzas, and the list just goes on and on. But yeah, there's going to be some staples that are available at all of our locations, and there's going to be some stuff that's specific to you. We've got pig wings. In some places, we've got all different kinds of options that'll just be specific to where they are.
Pig wings. I don't think I've heard of that. What is that?
A pig wing?
Yeah.
Oh, I mean, we'll have to get you one to try it. That's just all I can tell you. We
All
want
right.
to
I'm
get you one.
down, man.
Yeah.
All right. And what sort of hours is this typically open? Like, is this open till 3 a.m. or what? What
Nope.
are we looking at?
No, we always ran that mentality that nothing good happens after midnight, and there's very few stores that are open past 11, midnight the latest. So we're not a super late night spot. The pubs are just designed to be more of a community gathering place, a family gathering place. So most of our stores are open like 11 to 11, 11 to 10, maybe during the week, we may even close a little earlier. But
Mm.
grab that, really nice place to go have lunch, dinner, 6, 7 days a week.
Oh, okay. Awesome. And in terms of, you mentioned that you're turning a lot of people away. So who are you looking for? Like, what is an ideal type candidate? Are you getting primarily owner operators? Do you guys have a semi absentee model?
We're looking primarily for owner operators. We are finding that there's just a lot more unit economics built for success when you've got boots on the ground, and that's not uncommon in the restaurant space as a whole. To be there and see what's going on, and there's a lot of area and opportunity for loss if you're not present and you don't have a good team behind you. So that's primarily what we're looking for. I wouldn't say we have not explored more of the silent approach as well. But it's got to be a really good fit.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And in terms of, say I want to do this, Voodoo Brewery seems like a perfect fit for me. Like, how much cash do I need? What's my net worth have to be?
I think we're updating that right now, just with where we are in the world of construction and different things, professional fees. So that might have to be a small due out for me right now because I think they're updating that on the materials. But I want to say that it was somewhere in the 450 to 650 range.
Okay. That's liquid.
Yep.
Got it. And in terms of, a day in the life of an owner operator, what are the key things I'm focusing on typically?
Um, Community. That's probably the biggest thing I will say is, I mean, craft beer without community is just beer. It's so important for the brand to resonate and to have that awareness, to be actively involved in your community. I always use the example of, the tavern was always the place where people would gather and they would have their important meetings. They would sign important documents. All these things happen in that space, and it's not, unlike that today. If anything, I think it's even more so because now you add in like a layer of entertainment. You can add in things like programming and things like that. So
Mhm.
I guess, yeah, I mean that would be my number one thing is just your community engagement, being actively and somewhat selflessly engaged in your community. Number one.
Got it. For some reason, when you were talking, I kept thinking of Ted Lasso. I don't know if that's an accurate description of the tavern. I was thinking of those three guys just sitting
Yeah.
there watching the games. But in terms of your item 19, I don't know if that's something that you guys keep close to the vest, or if there's anything you're willing to share on that. But any teasers as far as profitability or anything you can share on that end?
Right now, we're just working on getting the few stores that we've awarded open and actively reporting for a year, and we're excited to share those results.
Awesome. Awesome. Anything else that I haven't covered that you want to get out there?
No. Again, we're considering really pulling back going into next year for part of our kind of responsible growth model. So I don't know if you'll be able to go to the website and do like an application or inquire. You might see a temporarily sold out sign there pretty soon. But until that's there, the Voodoo Brewery website where it says own your own is a great resource to get some more information and find out more about the opportunity. Or if there ends up being a waiting list there, that'll be where you can find it.